Democrats in Washington are concerned about this. This is from Politico. In more than a dozen interviews across the party, Democrats offered various defenses and diagnoses of the administration's messaging strategy and what may need to change. But nearly all acknowledge that the Bidenomics message blitz has failed to brighten voters' view of the economy to date. Now, it doesn't take a genius to see that because of these numbers. But one of the theories as to why it's not is because people are still, and voters are still feeling the sting of inflation. Every year, Gallup asks Americans how they feel about the economy, and then compiles a list of what they call the Economic Confidence Index. Here's how the Economic Confidence Index has evolved from January of 2000 to September of 2023. You can see the index's highest measurement is plus 56 in January of 2000, and the lowest measurement is minus 72 in October of 2008. We're sitting now at minus 39. Now, the economic, feeling that is pervading in America right now is something that the Biden administration and the Biden campaign is going to have to address in some way. And the question is whether they can do that. You can see that the graph has gone up and down since then, but the Americans still felt worse about the economy than they did in April of 2020, and you know what was going on then. So this is a situation, and Trey, I'll go to you on this. Is there anything that you could see just in terms of around the country, people talking about this?
I mean, Biden and the Democrats have to do their part too, but I just will say, trying to find some kind of optimism, there is another side of this equation too. When the campaign kicks into high gear, what's going to happen with Trump? He's only going to be in court more. He's only going to have more trials, more opportunities to continue to screw up. He hasn't grown any less unhinged in recent years when he's on the main stage in front of the whole American electorate up there talking about boats hitting whales, sharks getting electrocuted, and whatever else he's been doing lately, and that type of thing. That also, I hope, will be a factor. Now, again, we started off the show talking about how entrenched his people already are, but I think that, that still could move the needle a little bit, like giving Trump enough, rope to hang himself with. But Biden's going to have to do, his part as well. But I just think that the polls right now, it is a little early. We haven't even really getting into it yet. And there's a lot of ball game left, you know what I mean, on both sides.
Yeah, I would prefer not to start with the team that's down 24 though.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, don't worry, we're only in the fourth inning. We'll make up those 24 runs in the last 5 innings. Well,
you get a good line though. I mean, on that bet, you'd make a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you would, but for good reason, because it's very, very unlikely. Look, last couple things here. First, Bidenomics. Come on, guys. Who thought that was going to be a good thing? Oh my God, the country will be electrified by the term Bidenomics.
Well, electrified is different. I mean, I'm going to say that I actually did think it was a good idea. You have to put something good in terms of this administration if you are the administration and the people around it. I think it was definitely a good risk. And like you said, Cenk, all the numbers refute what these poll numbers show. So if you are in the administration, you're trying to sell your accomplishments on the economy, fine, that's pretty great to do it. You don't think that the people are going to vote or are going to be polled in this way and see this crazy number of jobs that have been created and think that you're losing by 19 points on jobs. So I don't even think it was risky to say that. I think it was let's own something good rather than let them define who we are.
Yeah, I got you, but it didn't work.
And that's also consistent with how you talk about the Democrats too.
But so let me show the difference though, okay? So I like to be constructive in the critique, right? So if you go with Bidenomics, go with Joe-onomics, I don't care, right?
Joe economy? Do you like Joe economy?
Oh, that's economy as Joe meant them? No, don't do that.
No, don't.
Okay, so you do that label and then you come out. And so here's what Biden says about Bidenomics. Bidenomics is good, no malarkey, right? Yeah. Now here's what I would say. Best job numbers ever, period. George Washington, where you at? Where you at, bro? Okay, literally ever, fact check it right now, lowest unemployment we've ever had, jobs. What did I do? I created millions of American jobs. Donald Trump, kiss my left cheek and my right cheek, I doubled your ass. Kiss both cheeks, I doubled your ass. What are you gonna do? I create jobs and you cry, so cry some more. Now, what's everybody gonna do? Everyone in the world is going to cover that speech. Everyone in America is going to see that, and then they're going to go, no way, man. You really twice as many as Trump? And all the local news, they're not gonna listen to MSNBC, CNN, I get it. But all the local news is also gonna cover that, and they're gonna go, yeah, I mean, it is true. It is record low unemployment, and it is true that he did double Trump's numbers on jobs. Oh, that was so hard. That was so hard. But no, Biden, oh no, that would be not classy. He wants to lose in a super classy way. And so when the fascists take over, the good news is we'll be super classy. All right. All right, Trey, last word.
Yeah, well, Cenk, I just think you might be onto something there, because I feel like we all know that American politics has long since morphed into like pro wrestling, essentially. Yes. And what you're basically pitching there is that Biden cut a promo on Trump on the subject of the economy. And so, I think that idea has some serious legs. I don't know that he's got the, again, the gumption to pull that off. But yeah, it's a nice thought.
You'd have to recast it, but
yeah, well, we might get to that too. But first, first, tyt.com/dropout. tyt.com/dropout. Joe Biden, stop being so selfish. It's incredibly selfish to risk democracy because you'd like a second term. Gretchen Whitmer, Josh Shapiro, Andy Beshear, other governors, where are you? Get in the goddamn race already. We're gonna lose to the fascists. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.